Welcome to today's explainer. Look, we're taking a bottom-line upfront approach here because if you're a busy executive, time is absolutely your most constrained asset. You definitely don't need raw data. You need synthesized intelligence. So today, we're connecting the dots, going from state-level macroeconomics all the way down to highly specific microsector innovations, so you can make really informed strategic decisions about market entry. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this because operating in silos, that's a massive risk for literally any C-suite leader today. It's like a giant puzzle. Understanding the market requires synthesizing macro-level state economic data with micro-level sector innovation. Think about it. You just can't look at a breakthrough in biomedicine without understanding the state regulations governing it, right? And you definitely can't analyze consumer goods without knowing the regional infrastructure that actually supports the supply chain. Connecting all this data isn't just some academic research exercise, it's the absolute bedrock of resilient corporate strategy.
Here's our roadmap for the briefing. We're using a zoom-in approach, starting with the macroeconomic picture and the regulatory and policy landscape before we zoom right in on sector spotlights in biomedical R&D and food and beverage. Finally, we'll wrap up with a strategic outlook.
Section 1. The macroeconomic picture. To really understand our baseline environment, our ground truth today comes directly from the Maharashtra State Economic and Statistical Data Bank.
Number 1. That's a powerful number, right? When we pull from the state data bank, Maharashtra's position as the #1 destination for foreign direct investment really jumps out at you. Targeting these dominant regional hubs literally dictates where your major corporate investments need to flow. It tells us exactly where the gravitational pull of capital is strongest. You want to be where the momentum is.
Next up, 100. This represents the state's aggressive push for 100% statistical data coverage in rural infrastructure tracking. Now, for you as an executive, 100% means total market visibility, no blind spots. When a region actually commits to this level of transparency, it drastically lowers your institutional risk. You aren't just guessing out there, you're operating on complete actionable intelligence.
Now, what's really interesting here is, well, we have to apply the so what principle. These aren't just abstract statistics floating in a spreadsheet. Look at the stark difference between Zone A and Zone C. Even a slight variation in regional infrastructure, whether we're talking about power grid stability or transport logistics, immediately and directly impacts your corporate supply chains. It's a real game changer. You've got to align your operations with the zones showing the highest infrastructure readiness.
Section 2. Regulatory and policy landscape. Macroeconomics definitely don't exist in a vacuum, so we're turning to the Vaziro and Ready IAS educational compendium to track the administrative currents that are actively shaping policy.
What we're witnessing is a massive transition from legacy bureaucratic hurdles over to dynamic, emerging regulatory frameworks, things like fast-tracked commercial licensing. As an executive, you've got to evaluate these shifts purely as current market conditions. Understanding this dynamic is completely non-negotiable, because at the end of the day, this is the very rulebook your regional operations are going to be judged against.
Section 3. Sector spotlight on biomedical R&D. We're shifting gears now from government policy directly into commercial innovation, utilizing the massive, incredibly detailed PubMed Central Archives. Biomedical innovation actually follows a pretty strict evolution. We move from Phase 1 archival research right through Phase 2 clinical development and into Phase 3 regulatory alignment, which, by the way, directly relies on those IAS frameworks we just touched on. And finally, Phase 4 commercialization. The absolute key takeaway for your portfolio here is velocity. Research is evolving from the archives into market-ready investments way faster than ever before.
So the crucial point is that the validity of this entire R&D pipeline rests on sources like PubMed Central. If you're not familiar, it's a free, full-text archive of biomedical and life sciences journal literature run by the U.S. National Institutes of Health. By anchoring our intelligence here, we ensure that any sector investments you're considering have absolute, peer-reviewed scientific backing. It explicitly and heavily de-risks the early stages of your investment portfolio.
Section 4. Sector spotlight on food and beverage. Let's turn now to the consumer goods side, drawing actionable market intelligence directly from food and beverage news. And this brilliantly illustrates that the modern consumer market isn't just one big monolith. It's actually heavily fractured. Market share segmentation currently shows premium brands sitting at 35%, value alternatives at 40%, and health-focused products capturing that remaining 25%. When you really analyze this breakdown, you see exactly where the aggressive sector growth is happening. Capital needs to be deployed into the highly specific segments that are actively capturing modern consumer attention.
Now, these segments are being driven by a few key emerging trends: supply chain agility, regulatory compliance integration, evolving consumer demand, and health science product alignment. Notice how everything kind of connects here? Supply chain agility ties right back to our macro infrastructure data. Health science alignment, think fortified functional beverages, is literally a direct downstream effect of the biomedical innovations we looked at earlier. These are the micro-level manifestations of macro-level data. It's all connected.
Section 5. Strategic Outlook. It's time to synthesize all these disparate data points into a cohesive, actionable summary for your executive team.
Let's move to this and see how it builds your practical roadmap for market entry and sustained corporate growth. Step 1. Leverage state macroeconomic data like the Maharashtra Data Bank to lock down your baseline infrastructure. Step 2. Align those plans with shifting administrative policies like those tracked by the IAS Compendium. Step 3. Target your specific investments utilizing verified archives for biomedical and targeted insights for F&B. Basically, this is your chronological blueprint for minimizing risk and maximizing market capture.
I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Take a hard look at your own portfolio today. Ask yourself, how does your current corporate strategy align with this disruptive intersection of regional macro policy and rapid sector innovation? If you're treating macro policy and micro innovation as two completely separate conversations in your boardroom, well, you're already falling behind. It is absolutely time to connect the dots.